Hey, how's it going? Since we're all not millionaires and can take unlimited days off or leave work whenever we want, we have to savor and maximize our vacation or travel days. And to get the most out of our vacation days, we want to be happy and healthy. Coming back from my trip, I have a few new tips, just a checklist of things to keep in mind to make sure that you have the healthiest travel. And these are findings that I've learned traveling to developed and less developed countries. But comment below and let me know if you would like more specific tips depending even on the country or types of regions. Many of these tips will be for before you travel and many will be for during your travel. So just something to keep in mind if you plan on making a checklist, maybe based off what I'm saying. Want to learn how to take care of yourself so you can maximize the fun on your trip? Keep on watching and share with the room where you're going next. I would love to know what your travel plans are. I do a little bit of travel, style, and food videos around here, so make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell notification so you don't miss any new uploads. I'll just wait here. Okay, on to the first tip. Number 1, make sure to always bring more medication than you need. At minimum, I would try to bring another week's worth of medicine. In many places that you travel around the world, there are drugstores that you can pop in if you do forget something, but I wouldn't count on that just because painkillers, for example, might not be as strong as maybe what's available in your country. Your body or your system might not take well to more unknown or foreign medication. So that's just something to keep in mind, especially if you're used to taking maybe Advil or Tylenol as painkillers or Claritin or a specific type of allergy medicine. We all hope that we don't get severely ill, but worst case scenario where you are super sick and you have to take a ton of fever medication because your fever is running over 102 degrees, or something crazy, you're going to end up running through medication faster, so always bring more stock than you need. What do I recommend you having in your medicine bag? I'd say bring some painkillers, allergy medicine, fever reducer, and some cold/cough drops. And this is the minimum. So if you have everyday medication that you take, maybe if you have diabetes or anything like that, I would make sure to bring all that medication in extra. Maybe speak to your pharmacist so you can stock up. Now, if you're traveling during the colder time of the year, you might sadly get off the plane with a bad cold, in part to help prevent you spreading that cold and coughing in everyone's face. I would always bring face masks. Apparently this mask is supposed to fit my face better because it's for women. So you can buy something like this. Really any mask will work. And besides keeping a cold from spreading, if you travel to an area where it's smoggy or smoky, it'll keep the dust and smoke out. For me, I'm allergic to pollen and dust, so whenever I wear a mask, it prevents me from sneezing my head off. If you have any of those issues, or you anticipate you might be running into those issues when you travel, bring a face mask. The only downsides would be I'd be careful in certain places wearing a face mask because you could look like a walking hazard. Some officials might ask you maybe if you're at the airport or getting on the train whether or not you have a spreadable infectious disease because you're wearing a mask. I wouldn't wear this everywhere. I might check and see if the area where you're traveling, if people do wear masks there. Especially in Asian countries it's usually okay, but wearing a mask might not be too kosher if you're in Europe or certain parts of Europe, for example. Also, if you plan to wear makeup, although probably shouldn't wear makeup if you're wearing a face mask because in a way it helps kind of hide your bare face. If you're ill and you don't want everyone to see how dead you look, your makeup will wipe off against the face mask just as your face sweats and whatnot. This will help you keep from spreading your germs, but will also keep all that nastiness out if you're already not feeling the greatest on your trip. Now, if you're traveling somewhere hot, you could be swarmed by the local bug population because you're new and maybe you look tasty to them. Always bring bug spray if possible. Randomly, I'm going to be showing you all Japanese products because I just came back from Japan. And this is a can of bug spray. Honestly, this is the best bug spray I've ever used. I'll explain why in a little bit. Now, if there's a specific bug spray that you like to use, I would try to pack it in a check-in because usually you're not allowed to bring aerosols or cans of any type of spray on board the plane. I think even if it comes in a tiny container. Again, it depends on the airport protocol in your country. Just to be safe, if you or anyone in your party is checking in a luggage, I would toss a can of bug spray in there. And most likely you'll be able to get one at the drugstore when you travel, but again, if you have sensitive skin, you don't know how that local one might react to your skin, or if the locals don't use it too much, it might not be super effective for you. Now, the reason I really like this bug spray is that the chemicals didn't react to my skin. It was actually very soft and very light. I sprayed this all over myself and I didn't feel icky or that it left a weird film on my body, which is good. And because this was a gentle spray, I tried spraying it on my bed when we went to the Philippines. And you know the Philippines is a tropical country, so there's a lot of many looking for a host. I sprayed this all over my bed and I didn't get bitten once. Actually in the Philippines I didn't even get bitten at all for the 10-ish days we were there when I used this every day. This is amazing, but I'm sure that you can find a good equivalent at your local drugstore. The smell of bug spray can be off-putting to many people, and it can be just another thing that you have to put on in the morning besides lotion, sunscreen, all that. But trust me, you don't want those red welts and you don't want to be itching up your body as you get settled into bed during the night and not be able to rest because of how red and itchy you are. My next tip is to make sure that you bring wet wipes for when you use the public restroom. In many countries, toilet paper isn't provided, so you'll need to carry around your own materials to wipe up when you're done with your business. And I know flushable wipes are very controversial right now, so if you can't find any that are truly flushable, I would recommend that you read the back of the package or use them a few times to make sure that they actually disintegrate quickly before you bring them on your trip. I would then just make sure that you bring some kind of toilet paper or tissue that's similar to toilet paper that you can just easily put in your purse or pocket and carry around with you. After you've done your business, you need to wash your hands and wipe up, and a lot of places don't have either an air dryer or paper towels, so you'll need to provide your own handkerchief so you can wipe up your hands. Or if you're in a hot country, just air dry it outside. These are items that will just make going to the restroom a lot easier and prevent germs from spreading. Just make your travel a lot more sanitary. Whenever I'm in a hot country and I go from outside to inside, a lot of times, especially if it's in the mall or somewhere where they have an AC or an air conditioning system, I find that it's blasting on cold and then I'm freezing. So I like to make sure that I bring a sweater for these situations. I wore this sweater when I was inside in the Philippines because the air conditioning was always super cold. I mean, really, you feel a lot more comfortable when you wear a sweater inside. You don't feel like you're freezing your butt off. And in the evening time, it can get a little chilly, so at least you have that sweater on you. I would try to bring a light sweater, not a heavy sweater, because you'll be carrying it around, obviously, if you're not wearing it. If you do plan on being outside for the majority of the day, or your trip, then a sweater probably isn't necessary. Sweater is the last item I usually think about when I'm traveling, especially in hotter countries, but it's something that I always wish I had when I'm inside and shivering, trying to warm up. If you do tend to get cold easily, remember to bring a sweater. I highly suggest that every day on your trip you have some kind of greens or fruit in your diet. Personally, the easiest way to get fruits in is drinking a smoothie because it's something that you can drink on the go. Or for greens, it's easy to have a fresh salad because you're getting those vitamins straight out of the vegetables. Depending on the country you're traveling to, for example, if you're traveling to Italy, the water is clean, so the water used for a smoothie or the water used for washing the vegetables is most likely clean. I would say it's totally fine to eat that. But if you're going somewhere where the national water source can't be guaranteed to be clean, for example in the Philippines, I would probably stay away from fresh smoothies and greens if you have a sensitive stomach. If you have a stomach of steel and you can digest anything, then by all means, have at it. But for those of you who are prone to getting sick when eating foods while traveling, I would recommend that you have boxed juice with a lot of vitamins. I would check that, it has vitamin A, D, all the nutrients, and it's not just straight sugar. Or for vegetables, making sure it's cooked but still eating a lot of it. It might sound odd not to eat vegetables just because it's been washed in the local water, because why does that change the nutrients or the vitamins in the vegetables? But if your body isn't acquainted with the local water source and it isn't completely purified, then you could get diarrhea or some kind of stomach sickness. I got severe diarrhea when I was just traveling, and I don't know exactly where it came from, but I was drinking tap water. And when I was bathing, I just ingested some of the raw water, so that probably is what caused the issue. But I would be careful so you don't spend the trip running to the toilet every 5 seconds. On the other hand, don't just have all the healthy stuff, don't just have all the cooked vegetables and all the fruits. Make sure you indulge in the local food as well. The easiest way I would recommend to get some vitamins and nutrients into your system is just to have juice right when you wake up. It helps jumpstart your system and you don't have to think about it for the rest of the day. Another alternative if you can't find fresh fruit juice is to get a yogurt too. Line your stomach and take care of it so that you can enjoy all the local delicacies. A related tip to making sure you have your fruits and vegetables is to drink plenty of water. I would advise you, though, depending on where you're traveling, to check the water source to see if the tap water is fit for consumption. Because if the water coming out of the faucet where you're staying isn't fit for consumption, then I would try to brush your teeth or, wash things like mouth guards or, whatever you put in your mouth, and you could potentially digest anything that comes out of it. Wash that with bottled water instead. And that segues to always buy more bottled water than you need, especially in a country where the regular tap water might not be as safe, so that you have enough water to do all those extra things like wash your face. And this is more of a tip for traveling to hot countries, but when you drink water, it might just quickly come out depending on how high the immunity is, or if you're starting to get diarrhea or feel sick. I would also have a bottle of Gatorade with you or something similar to Gatorade, like Pocari Sweat, so that you can replenish your electrolytes if you unfortunately get diarrhea and your body starts to lose a lot of its nutrients. I learned my lesson there. We didn't have any Gatorade, so we had to go run and get something similar to that. And after evacuating everything from my body, I didn't have energy. So have that emergency bottle of Gatorade, and it doesn't hurt to just drink it regularly too. I feel like water is one of those sneaky things that you feel like you can find easily, but it's not always easy to access it depending on where you're traveling. One of the best ways to prevent getting any local sicknesses is to eat what the locals eat. So try not to find foods that don't really come from that region. For example, if you're traveling to the Philippines, don't try to look for fries, hot dogs, maybe not even sushi if you have a sensitive stomach. I'm sure there are safe sushi places. I would try to eat what the locals eat because that's also what helps keep them healthy and in a good state to continue working and living in their own country. And a lot of what they eat can help with cooling your body down because they've always had that type of food to cool their body down, or to help with food poisoning, or to kill any bacteria that might survive on any food. Here in the Philippines, have lots of coconuts, calamansi juice. Calamansi is kind of the Filipino version of a lemon. A lot of the fresh fruits. They honestly taste amazing and super healthy for you. And this isn't easy for us picky eaters. I'm a bit of a picky eater, not in the sense that I won't try new food, but I'm very particular about what I feel like eating on a certain day. I know that sounds kind of spoiled, but open up your mind, your horizons. You're somewhere new, and you could be missing out on an exciting new dish if you don't open up. And the locals would know what fruits and vegetables are best for you to keep healthy and strong. Finally, I have more of a mental and not physical health tip for you, but this is more to have some buffer or built-in kind of relaxing days. So if possible, maybe the day after you arrive to your destination and you might have flown in and you're trying to get used to the time change, have some time to just relax at the pool, sleep in, or just kind of lounge around and chat with friends and catch up. Just as you can get burnt out from work, from working too much, I think from doing too much activity, trying to run, catch the plane, inhale all that recycled air in the airplane, then having to drive or take public transportation to your hotel. You can get exhausted, especially if you just came from a full-time job maybe the day before. Build in some relaxation. It'll help you also kind of soak in the moment and feel more present, feel more aware of the awe-inspiring scenery, and you'll be able to recharge and not feel exhausted and dead. Now, if you're on a cruise or you're on a trip where it's a set schedule, maybe set by a travel company you're going with, it's not going to be as easy to build in these times or days, but I would do the best that you can. Maybe at night take a relaxing bath as an alternative. But try to buffer in those times so that you do truly feel like you're on vacation, or you're not trying to make vacation work by trying to see 20 different things in 3 days. It'll be such a whirlwind, you might not even remember anything, and that'd be super sad. So find these little ways to relax during your trip. So that wraps up tips for how to make sure you're prepared to be healthy before and during your trip. I hope these were helpful. Comment below and let me know what tip you're going to make sure you put into your travel routine. And if this was fun, give this video a like. Stay tuned in because I have more travel, vlog, and tip videos on the horizon. Also, I've seen an influx of new people. Hi, welcome. Thank you so much for your support and for subscribing to Little Old Me. I really appreciate it. Alright, have a fantastic day and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!